I've already given Zack Snyder's Giga Chad Batman his praise for many reasons, like being the most human and realistic depiction, while being the most comic accurate live action Batman, or hero in general, due to being close to Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. But the reported lore is how Batman was married to Catwoman, but got divorced prior to BVS. And if it's true, it adds a whole new layer of Giga depth that I only started to think of a few weeks after Snyder posted a photo he took of Carla Gugino that people speculated was her as Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, due to the black and white color scheme, similar to the other DCEU characters he was posting photos of around the same time. The rumors I've heard being that she would have showed up in flashbacks, or hell, maybe even a Batman solo movie. But anyway, as said in my last video, we know that Snyder's Batman lost a lot in BVS, as implied via a dead adopted son in the form of Robin, his family legacy, and a bunch of Wayne employees dying with the destruction of the Wayne building, caused by Superman and Zod fighting, along with a slew of other losses one can infer, such as the events of the Killing Joke, or Harvey Dent becoming Two-Face. But a lost lover on top of it makes it even more sad, but also even more badass at the same time. It further solidifies that he pretty much lost everything he could, with Alfred being the only exception, and he still hustled and stayed Batman while only getting more angry at the world, as he loosened his rules and started to make the degenerate criminals of Gotham suffer all the more via the bat branding the more extreme criminals like a human trafficker would get, or Batman making less effort to keep the criminals alive. But back onto Catwoman, whom we sadly never got to see in the Snyderverse at all. It's still cool to think that she was probably a light in Bruce's life at a point, but as it goes with most divorces, breakups, or hell, even cheating, it's usually the woman leaving for various reasons, most of which being for invalid reasons that are quite petty, inconsequential, or with little to no significant reason at all. Except selfish self-interest, even when their children are involved, and still need a dad in order to grow up properly, instead of turning out like one of the single mother race hoodmen from Gotham City. They could be divorcing for the sake of being bored and not getting enough attention due to the man working so he could provide for her, and then her wanting to get a reaction out of her partner, such as wanting their man to plead or beg for her to stay, which will never work and will only further validate her leaving, as opposed to ignoring her illogical toddler-esque attention-seeking, emotionally driven temper tantrums. It could be getting a divorce due to boredom once again, via no drama happening in the relationship, like what happens in those shitty reality TV shows they watch, like 90 Day Fiancé, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, or one of the many housewife shows, etc. They could be things a woman wants to do but can't do within a marriage or relationship, so they'll sacrifice a relationship so they can go to Miami and go clubbing or some other form of unproductive bullshit that gives nothing to society. It could also be due to her losing control of how she wants things to be in a very precise, uncompromising manner. And lastly, it could be the woman not being fine with the man she knew when she married him, staying the man that he was without changing for her, like the women who get with criminals, drug dealers, or cheaters, bad boys basically, and then get mad when they do criminal, drug dealer, and cheating things, as this even happened to a celebrity like Cardi B, getting with a cheater and then getting cheated on. Just one of the many examples. But anyway, back on to Catwoman, who isn't as bad as all of those extreme real-life examples. But we can infer and take a likely guess that fragments of those examples are the reason she divorced the peak, wealthy, intellectual, and athletic male performance known as the Batman. Catwoman examples I would speculate is how she was bored of no drama existing, since their chases would no longer be a thing if they're married, since Batman would stay committed to spending his nights fighting crime and would want her to stop stealing. Basically the I can fix her mentality, which one can speculate if it can work or cannot, but I've heard it doesn't work more times than not, as women are far more likely to be stubborn even when objectively wrong. Accountability kryptonite basically. In one of the Injustice 2 arcade endings, Catwoman basically left for all of these petty reasons, as bluntly shown here.
With 9 lives, it had to happen sooner or later. I got everything I ever wanted, including a handsome prince and a badass reputation as the woman who beat Brainiac. And I must say, I was bored to death. Bruce and I worked better when we were forbidden, when the masks were on and the claws were out. That honeymoon was over, so I did the best thing for both of us. I'm not sad. I didn't become Catwoman to bag Bruce Wayne. I don't ever want to rely on anyone but myself. I'll go where I want to go, take what I want to take, and never, ever look back.
I like Injustice mostly for the first game and its prequel comics, but dude, Batman, that is not how you handle shit. Look at him sulking and validating his shit. This is not how a Giga Batman should be behaving. You should be smoking despite going through the thick of it, like Ben Affleck did. These are only mistakes that teenagers or men in their early 20s make when they're down bad. As said before, that shit doesn't work on the Huz, and they leave anyway. Like, look at Selena's face here. It looks exactly like what I was explaining earlier. Point is, Catwoman should have known who she was in bed with when she accepted the wedding ring of Batman, as I highly doubt Batman ever said he would give up crime for her or would allow her to keep stealing. Why would he want to stop fighting crime or allow her to do more crime when he's busy helping people for the greater good, for truth, justice, and vengeance, instead of stealing things like Catwoman does or other things normal women outside of my Giga dating preferences like to do, like pretending to care about various social issues like pollution, but then being the main contributors to one of the most polluting industries like clothing. But anyway, this divorce is probably more of Catwoman's fault than it is for Batman, with all of these speculated points being said, and it's honestly quite sad since the relationship has rarely permanently worked out in next to every adaptation, with very few exceptions that aren't even from highly acclaimed stories. Batman is always about the greater good. He's vengeance. He is the knight. He is Batman. But beyond that, what makes Snyder's Batman even more badass is how he tanked that divorce like it was nothing. He still hustles onwards and used the rage of his personal losses of all sorts, whether it be the deaths of his loved ones or his divorce, and used it to instill even more fear into criminals via harsher methods. Although he was morally in the wrong for his next feat, he went on to defeat Superman after Superman underestimated Batman. Now this is the triumphant Giga shit I'm talking about. This is what you have to do when your woman leaves you. You have to assert dominance and defeat Superman.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's leaving! That's where he's gonna go!
Okay, jokes aside, you have to keep hustling like nothing ever happened. Ignore her like how students ignore the special needs kid throwing his lunch at the wall. You gotta keep going despite the hole in your soul that desires love. Hell, it may even get your Gaia angry as she's forced to see that you got better after you two parted. Don't make the mistake others make when they're young. Do not text her back or reach out to her later. Hell, while you're together, you shouldn't even be giving enough of a fuck to double text her. Do you think Batman reached out to Catwoman after that divorce? Fuck no. He kept going. Sometimes it makes me wonder if relationships stop men from being great due to the time investment it can take, to be honest. It reminds me of a scene from another great movie like Whiplash, where the music student Andrew broke up with his girlfriend because...
I'm gonna keep pursuing what I'm pursuing. And because I'm doing that, it's gonna take up more and more of my time, and I'm not gonna be able to spend as much time with you. And even when I do spend time with you, I'm gonna be thinking about drumming. And I'm gonna be thinking about jazz music and my charts and all that. And because of that, you're gonna start to resent me. And you're gonna tell me to ease up on the drumming, spend more time with you because you're not feeling important. And I'm not gonna be able to do that. And really, I'm just gonna start to resent you for even asking me to stop drumming. And we're just gonna start to hate each other. And it's gonna be ugly. And so for those reasons, I'd rather just, break it off clean. Because I wanna be great.
And you're not.
I wanna be one of the greats.
And I would stop you from doing that.
Yeah.
Totally Batman, but even if that concept is true, it's still unfortunate if it comes to that, as men and women are meant to be together emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Hell, divorce isn't even supposed to be a thing in most instances, as Christianity bans it overall, and most of the other religions heavily frown upon it. Does the phrase "till death do us part" not ring any bells? It's the reason marriages happen less, but it's just become too commonplace because of the state allowing women to make all the wrong decisions in the first place, with more of an award for it instead of actual repercussions that they actually care about. Hence them initiating the divorce way more than men do, often for the petty reasons I already mentioned, with some exceptions of valid reasons for a woman to initiate a divorce, but most of the good women who should get one are too afraid to, while the ones who shouldn't do it more carelessly. And it's sad because when it comes to those careless separations, they must know how happy they can make a man be. Should they make the right choice in a man, that man would give that love back to them however they can, whether it be working more to provide for her, as a man is supposed to do. But nonetheless, if push comes to shove and she does leave, a man must be ready to move the fuck on, like nothing ever happened. The past can only hold you back, and it's a lesson everyone, including myself, can learn.
I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got, if not himself? Then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my Yes, it was my